What's happening, Brighton? The short answer is a lot. The long answer is this podcast. What's Up, Brighton is a show dedicated to the community we all love.
Hosted by Roger Burnett, Eric Meldrum, and Coach Mark Howell, this podcast will feature news, issues, and discussions impacting Livingston County and celebrate the people who make our slice of Michigan go and grow. This is What's Up, Brighton. Oh, we're rolling. Oh, Jesus. What's up, Brighton?
What are you going to do with that $1,500 of t-shirts?
We're going to sell them somehow. I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's all for a good cause.
Yeah.
It's all for a good cause. It is the Christmas season, ladies and gentlemen, as evidenced by Son of a Nutcracker. My name's Roger. That there's Eric. And back once again, the talented and sassy Elise has joined us once again for episode 43 of the What's Up Brighton podcast. What's happening, folks? It's been a minute. I'll start right out by making a bold proclamation that Elf is my second favorite Christmas movie of all time.
Well, second, but what's the first?
A Christmas Story. And what's amazing is it's an either all yes or all no endeavor for A Christmas Story with almost everyone that I ever encounter. But Elf is very closely followed by National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
That is a good one.
Those are my top three. How about you?
That's a good one. I would say my all-time favorite is Home Alone.
Home Alone,
Home
yeah.
Alone. I mean, I'm a 80s baby, so, you know, Home Alone's right in our genre. And I love the fact that my kids love Home Alone now.
Dig it.
And we've already watched Home Alone probably half a dozen times since Thanksgiving.
So how about, do you go for the full trilogy or is it you stick with one?
They will watch Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. Beyond 2, it's not the same character anymore. So they're just not interested in it.
It's kind of like the Godfather movies.
Yeah.
First two are great, dial downhill from there, which is also a Christmas movie, by the way, Godfather. We watch it. That's one of our traditions. We watch Godfather 1 and 2 during the Christmas break every single year.
They're such long movies. Yeah.
So, and Christmas favorites?
Oh, man. Okay, so to speak on what you said, A Christmas Story, that was just my childhood because my dad's favorite movie. And this is like pre the long marathons that they do on cable television. It was like Turner or whatever. We would actually just watch it while we made Christmas cookies or whatever. So I know the entire thing by heart.
Awesome.
I put that in the number 3 slot.
Okay.
The number 2 slot is taken by It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know that I've ever seen that one.
Oh my.
Man, that hurts.
I don't.
That hurts.
Who's
it's
in
so
it?
good.
That's anti-American.
Jimmy Stewart. Like it's black and white. Like it's legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
We'll forgive him for that one.
And then my favorite currently is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
It's so good.
It's just, I think as an adult, I appreciate it more. As a kid,
Agreed.
maybe I would have liked the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
I'm with you because the all of the dialogue in National Lampoon it's an adult movie, without question.
Oh,
Do you guys remember that post that was in the group where someone, I'm not going to dig to find out who this person is, but someone in the group actually posted looking for someone to post or park their RV.
I saw that.
They're going to have a themed
Cousin
party.
Eddie.
I did not see that one.
They were looking for a Cousin Eddie van to be out front of their party.
Interesting.
Yes, but of course they didn't divulge where it was, but they're like, it's somewhere along Grand River.
Where do I empty the shitter?
Parking lot. I was like, so I immediately texted my siblings and was like, we need to do this.
We need to do
a different theme every year.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Okay. So out there in Watcherland, if you have your top 3 Christmas movies, feel free to apply your answers into the commentary. We could even go poll. We could go poll there.
We could
see what the answers come up.
Top Christmas movies.
Because Hard.
Some of the ones that we didn't get brought up were The Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
Original or the people one or
we actually just went through this in our house, and we wanted to put on. I actually like the newer one. Was it the Illumination? It's like the
one where he has feelings. He's not a Grinch anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So it tells me so much about you, Eric.
Yeah. The Grinch is Jim Carrey.
Period. The Grinch is Jim Carrey.
Period. Not
right.
Sons.
That was and surprisingly enough, my oldest, she wanted to watch the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And
the animated. Which is the original.
Yeah,
the Jim Carrey one.
Okay.
The Jim Carrey one.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Yes, Jim Carrey. and we put on the new one, and for like first 5 minutes, she's like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. And then literally after 5 minutes, she kind of calmed down and she's like, oh, this movie's good.
It's incredibly good.
It is really good.
His dialogue, he talks nonstop through that entire movie. It's as if I was cast in that role.
Oh my god!
Which I would love to play that role. That would have been amazing. As people might call me as my admin of the page is slightly Grinch-like.
Whatever. You decline those posts with a smile.
So okay, well, before we move this along, how about favorite Christmas TV special? Do you have one of those? I like the Island of Misfit Toys. That one.
I haven't watched a lot of TV, so like I am blanking.
Ooh,
I'm blanking on. I don't watch.
Well,
TV
there was
anymore.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Of course,
that's probably my favorite.
Without question, that one is classic.
We say TV specials as if they are still on TV. I don't even know if they're on TV anymore. But this is like
I have no idea what's going on TV. Like this is like a foreign thing to me.
Like Frosty the Snowman was one. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Heat Miser. The Heat Miser
just,
and the Snow Miser.
So
like
just movies and shows that played around Christmas time?
No,
Yeah.
these are actual television programs that were written for TV that are mostly stop action animation, which are phenomenally difficult to do. And they're old. So I'm not surprised that you don't know many of
There
these.
we go.
Like,
But Elise knows.
But she knew It's a Wonderful Life. So I mean, I thought I had some
You're an
people
old
here.
soul.
But
You're
I
an
thought I
old
had
soul.
some people here, but
Nope.
apparently, if Taylor Swift would create a Christmas special,
Come on. Like Taylor Swift, let's go.
Yeah, see, because Eric's
Swiftie.
kids. I mean, the
Such a
girls
girl
were
dad. You're such a girl dad.
100%.
I gotta stay in my lane,
So, all right, well, again, we love all additional entries from the watcher community for whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not is a wild debate. I happen to believe it is, but there's a lot of people who believe it's not. So, if you want to weigh in on this topic, we're happy to hear what everyone else has to say.
That'd be an interesting one. Die Hard?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
That is an ongoing debate. Last night, I introduced my kids to the Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the one that they made. What was that, like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
That was early 2000s.
Oh, man. That's such
Quality.
Such a good movie. And I never really saw it as a Christmas movie because it's always winter and never
Winter
Christmas.
Wonderland.
But it is, the kids were fascinated. They were glued to the television. Even my almost 3-year-old was glued.
See? Slight nod to Polar Express. I mean, there's a lot to be had out there, and it is slightly annoying.
See, they'd made really good movies when we were growing up. Like it was absolutely phenomenal, and I'm sure that's how a lot of older people feel about the movies.
You
they
notice
made.
he's pointing at me as older people. Which
It's just the
me and the
like,
gray.
the
It's a
mic
Wonderful
is right
The
here.
gray.
So, the mic is right here, so I can't go any further.
Our imaginary old friend over here in the corner.
Welcome to the show, old fart. But the older movies, like our kids, I'm so happy that our kids are watching those because I never watched any of those like old school movies when I was growing up. Like, my parents put on, the what was the movie, The Christmas Story, right? And like I became a little bit more fond of it over the years, but when they first turned it on, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, put on something else. This is stupid.
Nostalgia. You just have to, you watch enough times, it becomes a cult classic.
Yeah.
Eric, what you just described in my family is called a little something called forced family fun.
I totally get it. We had forced family fun all the time.
My parents have an advent calendar this year for
Okay.
a Christmas Story.
Oh.
So I get little pictures that come in with like, all the little characters.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen the adult advent calendar that's got a little shooter bottle in every one of the doors?
No.
Let's go. Costco. Obviously, I don't
Are
think
they
you'll
marked
be-
down by now?
No, there's no opportunity for those to get marked down because
Sell out.
they always sell out, which is completely understandable
Fair.
when it comes to Christmas time. And so, do either of you have extended family who come and stay with you, a la the Christmas Story?
No.
No, we have enough
Negative,
people living
I
in
mean,
my
all
house.
of our family lives in Michigan, so
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about anybody. Our kids aren't old enough to be gone yet and come back. So
Okay.
My brother
yet.
will be coming in from out of town, but not to stay with me, to stay with my parents. And
Perfect.
his fiance will be with him.
Correct. Because, milk and relatives go bad after 3 days.
He's going to be here about 3 days.
The rule. So,
Yeah.
but not in your refrigerator. So you're going to be good. That's going to work out just great. So did neither of you attend Ladies Night Out this year?
I did. We did. We went out to eat at LR Bowl.
And I was
Shocker.
not. I
What
was
do you mean
not in town.
shocker?
You love that place.
He does.
Yeah,
Love
I
that
do
place.
love that place. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's only a couple restaurants downtown. I mean, there's not a ton.
There are many restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
Apologies to all downtown restaurants that somehow now have been excluded. There are a handful. We'll call it a handful.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, when you live here long enough, there's only a few that you
There it
frequent.
is. There it is.
And
There we go.
why do I feel like I'm being judged right now? What the frick is going on? Like,
Well, because Mark's not here, so we got to pick on somebody.
this is
Right.
I'm
yeah.
sure it's going to be
All right.
my turn in a minute, but we'll see if we can get you to walk out
Okay,
in
so
the
here,
middle of the show.
here's the test. How many restaurants do you guys go out to eat at on a regular basis? Do you guys do your rotation? Do you go to the Label, then Lou and Carl's, and then the Pound, and then Jezebel's, and then Chow Michi's? And
Did you
then
notice
Brighton
the
Bar and Grill?
uptick in just the decibel level of his voice right there? We
First of all,
triggered him.
We
That was a
just got
trigger.
Eric to list off way more than a few restaurants.
Right?
I just want to point that out.
Yeah. Well, I know there's more restaurants down there.
I know what you're
I like
saying.
the restaurants I like.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm with you. We rotate. We do rotate.
Rotate around every single one of them, or do you have a select?
No,
few.
that's not fair. We certainly, there's restaurants out there who would say they've never seen my face brighten their door.
There
That's
you
for
go.
sure. So, I mean, if that's where we're trying to go as the point of this discussion, then yeah, you got it. But there's restaurants to be had. Let's put it that way, right? So I'm with you though. I totally get that. And you certainly, if somebody were to come to town and you wanted to show them a good time and take them to a restaurant, we all kind of would narrow the list down very quickly to the ones that we would be taking people to. Fair?
Yes.
100%.
100%. So,
Yes.
so message received. So,
All right, we're done with the judgment.
But we were talking about ladies' night
yes,
and how
we
we,
didn't.
ended up at
Yeah.
Tolerable.
So, how was
Yeah.
the vibe?
It was great. Oh, as always. It was great. It was packed. Lots of ladies in there. Saw tons of moms that kids go to school with. So
Was that
we were with the kids and the whole family was out.
pre-snowstorm, post-snowstorm? Where I forget how that lined
Oh,
up
no,
with when we
that
got
was-
dumped on.
That was actually a really good night for it.
Awesome.
It was cold,
There
but
wasn't snow.
there was no snow. And it was just cold out. But everybody had their fire out and yeah, it's good.
Well attended.
It looked very well attended. We didn't make it all the way down Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked very well attended from the vantage point of LR Bowl compared to all the other restaurants and shops down there.
What say you, merchant?
I was working
That's what I figured.
in my store.
And was it worth your time to be open?
It's always worth my time to be open. I mean, it's always worth my time to be open.
Did
but
the register ring like you would have liked it to ring?
no,
Okay.
I felt like there were some people, first thing, maybe the people who wandered in from the parking lot and they were like, what is this place?
Sure.
And they came in and then we were dead for about 2 hours.
Ooh.
And then right after everybody got their tokens and or a lot of drinks,
Aha.
they all came in between 9 and 10 p.m.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I was like about to leave and I was
Right.
like, where are all these people
Yeah,
coming
the
from?
gates half down. Right. No,
So we made money. But as far as like it being like really like, busy and fun and stuff, I feel like we kind of missed that vibe in that back area because most people just kind of keep walking down Main Street.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, certainly Ken Larshide could tell us how things went, and I'd be interested to know. So, but long story short, now ends a year of Brighton streetscape,
Yeah.
and it seemed like it went okay, largely.
I
We
think-
had
I
big
think
doubts.
I think it's going more than okay.
We had big doubts. I mean, if
Yeah.
you go back to the early episodes, I mean, that was a big topic of discussion for us in those early shows was how's it going to work? It seems like it's going to not be enough room and all of those things. And yet, I mean, Gilmore Girls kind of proved to us that we could pull it off as a town.
Well, do you think there would be a scenario where change occurs and you have a unanimous like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. That sounds
Sure.
like a great
Oh, wait.
like
No.
a great plan.
Without
No.
fail, it's going to happen just the very next decision
Yeah,
that gets made.
could-
Everyone's going to
they
agree.
could have rolled out 10 different plans, which I'm sure that happened, during the planning phase of like, oh, what about this? What about that? But they could have rolled out 10 different plans, and it's just like everything. Nobody's ever going to be happy with whatever you decide or people decide.
Generally speaking.
There's always going to be it. But they put something together, and it was, what I think was a kind of a very well thought out, plan for the streetscape. They took into account, right, the sidewalks, the curbs not being there, making it more of like a easy pass, for people to get from the street to the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And they widened it, right, making downtown shopping a little bit better. So I've heard from a lot of different merchants, and you can share this, but there's been more foot traffic than years past because of it, and more notoriety on Brighton as a whole than in years past. Is that true?
Well, I can't speak to the previous years, having just opened in May, but I will say a lot of people are coming back who said, I did not come downtown at all when the streetscape was being executed. So
literally being executed.
But now people are coming back and saying, wow, it's just beautiful downtown. So awesome. I think that there probably is some truth to more people just wanting to walk around downtown. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm so impressed just by every thought that was put into, the giant, huge flower pots, and just gorgeous, the scenery, and just, I actually kind of like the crosswalks. I think that dealing with the extra parking spot situation was a real win. But in general, I have no complaints about how it actually looks.
Awesome. It's the proof is in the result, right? And the only way we were going to know was to have an opportunity to now be able to look back on what's occurred, see how it went. Can you just imagine, to your point of like, we don't never not complain about stuff if it hadn't gone well? Oh, my lordy.
I'm sure. Yeah, there could have been some scenarios where there were some big planning like faux pas, that took place.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably some things that they would look at now and say, yeah, we probably could have done that a little bit differently,
One would expect.
Yeah. But I agree. I think, what we have now is way better than what it was.
Agreed. Without question. So cheers, downtown Brighton.
Yes.
Cheers.
Well done.
Are you or a loved one struggling with the effects of a stroke? The Oxford Center in Brighton, Michigan offers a cutting-edge alternative stroke treatment that can help stroke victims even years after having a stroke. Our approach combines traditional medicine with evidence-based alternative therapies, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. This advanced treatment involves breathing pure oxygen in a specialized environment that can stimulate the growth of new blood vessels and promote healing in the brain. We also offer physical therapy and speech therapy programs to help patients regain their strength, coordination, and ability to communicate. Contact the Oxford Center today at 248-486-3636 or visit the website at oxfordcenter.com to learn more about the alternative stroke treatment options, including hyperbaric oxygen therapy. That's 248-486-3636 or visit oxfordcenter.com.
But here we are. I got the jingles on. It's clearly that time of year, which it's time for us to look back at what was the year that was in Brighton 2024. We're right here up against it at the tail end of the year, which gives us a chance to look back in retrospect, highlight some of the coolest things that may have happened and maybe some of the least cool things that have happened. So, Eric, you have any thoughts on this topic?
Well, I got one, and the tunnel of lights is back in full effect.
Back, baby.
It is back. And there's people down there every single night taking pictures, posting in the group, which is super cool. It's now become a staple. If you are from out of town, like, you're coming here just for the lights. And I think that's gaining some momentum.
How could it not?
So that's cool. I mean, that's when you have something that people look forward to, and the singing trees now were a great addition this year.
So cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Right?
So cool. So those two things, that just seeing those downtown and like the whole, we just talked about the streetscape, but just being there and now having this ambiance that people are looking forward to coming down, that's a huge win, for the city. But there was a lot more. I mean, there was more businesses opened. Elise, you were part of that new addition this year on the business front.
Yes.
Right. So new businesses are coming into town, and I've seen what was the business that Spun Sugar? We seem to like have this like candy mecca.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like a little competition. Is it like that on the merchant side? Do you guys have this like incestuous competition that's going on?
I think we all carry different things.
Sure.
So, I mean, I just haven't seen it be a big deal. Like, I'm not carrying cotton candy. She's not carrying freeze-dried candy. Neither of us are carrying, like, the handmade hard candies, like Oh My Lolly. So we just have a difference.
I saw Keith carrying some freeze-dried candy in there.
He does have some, but he doesn't make it himself.
I know. I was like, what?
Collaboration.
Where's the collaboration?
Oh, so he did approach me, for the record.
Okay.
Because anyone's wondering why Keith is so mean. No, I'm sure.
Oh.
He did approach me and ask me if I'd be interested in doing his candies at some point. But one of the issues is that we do not have a peanut-free facility, and his stuff is all peanut-free. So it's a safe place for people with nut allergies to go.
Sure.
It also gives him an in schools.
Sure.
With having the peanut-free facility. So in the case of if he decides to carry some of our stuff, it would have to be bagged in our shop and labeled as such.
Gotcha.
So we don't know. Maybe possibly in the future, but for now, that's the difference.
Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, candy shops, downtown are popping up. And then there was a couple new businesses on the old hardware store.
Yep.
That have come to light.
We have Giannopolis has been refilled with Grand River Brewing.
Grand River Brewing. What do you guys think about Grand River Brewing? Have you
I
guys
have
been there?
not yet eaten there.
Have you been there?
I have, because I do make my rounds through the restaurants.
Right. I drink beer there. I won't.
All right. So here's my thoughts. The food was really good. We had some excellent brisket. Very, very good. They did, however, make a lot of mistakes in the kitchen as far as like maybe it's just working out those hiccups for a new restaurant. But I felt like the service was a little less desirable than I would like it to be. But once again, still a new business, so I would go back.
Did you go there right when they opened up, or was it?
No, they opened in July. They soft opened in July, and we went, I think, in September. So it'd been a couple months, but you could tell it was like a kind of an off time on a Saturday after the farmer's market was over. And like I said, the food was amazing, but I felt like there was a miscommunication in the kitchen is what goes with a certain menu item, that kind of stuff. Yep. And then the other disappointment is that they don't smoke their cocktails. So you've got a place that smokes their meat.
That seems like a miss.
Our bourbon went unsmoked. Okay. I was like, it's not that hard to get a cocktail smoker. So I'm putting that out there.
I got one for like a white elephant. I got one for a white elephant, gift last year. It said on my
cocktail smoker.
Yeah. Have you ever used it?
I used it the day I got it, and then I haven't touched it since.
So we should just have him take it down.
I can gift it. That was my point. I can gift it to you.
You should bring it. We actually carry cocktail smokers at McClemens Farm.
There you go.
So there you go. You looking for a gift? We've got cocktail smokers.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the reason I ask is I have this mixed review on it. Like I'm torn whether I like it. I was really excited about it. I love the fact that we would have local brewery.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of a Michigan chain, like they're local Michigan. They have multiple locations. But that's fine. Like I love the story behind it, and I was excited about it. I was really excited. And that location has such a cool vibe. Right in the corner there, they have the basement, which when Giannopolis was there, we had mini entrepreneur meetups.
100%.
There. And they got a bar down there. You can do private events. I've always thought it could be like this super cool speakeasy, in Brighton. Like that'd be awesome if you had that in there.
For a time, it was Cowgirls.
For a very, very, very short
amount of time. That is like the opposite thing from a speakeasy. There was a place in Fenton that just made this changeover. And I'll come back to Grand River. But there was this place that just made this changeover. You guys ever been to Panema Lake Tavern? Mm-mm. So it was I don't think Panema Lake Tavern. It was like the Panema Grill or something like that. It was on Lake Panema. And it's the only restaurant on the lake. And that's what that area was like begging for, is like a good outdoor, tavern overlooking the lake, cool vibe. Like that should do really well in the Fenton area. So they just changed over to a country dance bar. And I'm like, that is going to, that will not be there in a couple of years.
Fenton.
Yeah. That is going to flop hardcore.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Meldrum.
That's just my prediction. Like,
clearly.
But think about it. Like there's the bar crowd that you're actually attracting is an older clientele, that is either going to line dance or, just be there to get, Miller Lite or Bud Light, just like really drunk, so
volume drinking.
There's no millennial that is going to go to a line dancing bar
In Fenton.
in Fenton. Not going to happen.
I get it.
I would love to line dance, for the record. I do identify as a millennial, but I'm not driving to Fenton for it. I probably
the
would
kicker.
have gone to
How many times would
Cowgirls.
you go? Would you go? I mean, if you go out, let's say a handful of times a year, that will be like one of the times,
It would, yeah, maybe.
right?
Yeah, I don't
And
get out
I'm
much.
I'm just going off of my nights out. I get out like a handful of times a year. with
Right,
the
right.
kids.
That's fair.
But that's not going to be one of them. I'm not going to go to a line dancing. Like if I'm going out on date night, I actually want to go to a place where I can just like chill, relax.
I'm now it's my mission to get this man out to this place
Line
in Fenton.
dancing?
Just
We can go there and make some content. But back to Grand River, and I probably sound like a complete snob on like this stuff, but I don't care. Because I was really looking forward to Grand River Brewing Company, and I went in there and I've had lunch there multiple times. And given it, and it's not just like I've been in there, had a bad experience. I went in there, had a bad experience, went back. Like I've been there a handful of times. I've given it a handful of chances to change, work out the kinks, do all the things that I won't go back. I just won't go back, because every time I go in there, I feel like it's just a little staff hangout.
oh,
And they're just like, you got a couple of the servers that have like, they're up at the bar just chatting, and there's like no management in there. Like if you were to walk into Bourbons or Brighton Bar and Grill, the management would be like,
visible.
get all your shit put in the back. Like we're not having staff hangout. Like this is not going to happen.
Right.
And so that I just felt like I was intruding on their hangout. Like I'm a nuisance coming in. And I had a bartender who she was the bartender. She was like, there was like 5 people working in here, but she was the bartender and the server. Everybody else is not doing anything.
Wow.
Right. They're just like out doing whatever they're doing. I have no idea. But the bartender has the gloves on, right, that they use to like cut lemons or do whatever. And she had her gloves on. Okay, cool. Thumbs up for you. She never took her gloves off. Never took the gloves off.
She started out as a Walmart cashier during COVID.
Right. Wiping tables down with her gloves on, cutting lemons with her gloves
Handling
on,
the
serving
money.
my food with her gloves on. I'm like, that defeats the whole entire purpose. Take your gloves off. Right. So have they had management in there kind of understanding what's going on?
What's what?
That could be a really cool place. And it pains me. And I never see anybody in there. And I think everybody, is seeing the same thing. You brought up the service, subpar. And it's just, a couple college girls and, bartenders that are just like, just don't give two shits.
In the quintessential words of Mark Howell, shots fired. And secondarily, the irony of the fact that the single most consistent thing that you could count on was Peter Giannopoulos himself walking around the restaurant and shaking hands and talking to every single patron every single day.
Yeah.
So to think that somehow the legacy that man created for that building on that corner in that very important real estate in our town is not getting it done and honoring his legacy.
If you could match, Pete's personality and, all of his energy with a good menu.
Yes.
Like that would be great.
100%.
Right. And I love Pete and I love Melissa.
Yep.
Right. Love them as people, but their food was subpar.
Not great.
Right. It's
my husband and I had the same experience when we first moved here. We went to Giannopoulos and we loved the ambiance and we loved the ownership, but the food was okay.
Okay.
It was
Agreed.
okay.
Here's
so we
how-
felt like in contrast that Grand River Brewery had really good food, but the service was so bad that, there was a substitution made on one of our plates and no one even said asked us ahead of time. They said, oh, well, the cook decided to give you this side instead of what comes on the menu. And we're like,
Enjoy.
great. And it ended up being delicious, but it was just like, that's
I'm
a
allergic
strange.
to Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, this is a
Right.
very strange thing to just swap and not say, oh, are you okay with this? And it wasn't even like they were out of something. It literally was just like he felt like serving you with something else.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, if you're going to go out and, go out to eat as a family, or you and your significant other are going out to eat, it's all about the experience, right? Most of the national chain restaurants are just as expensive as some of the local ones. You can go to any of these, you're going to spend, $50, $75, for the two of you. If you're going out for drinks, maybe $100,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
you want consistency. Like you want a good meal.
Yeah.
Right. And more importantly, you want a good service. Right. And if I'll go back to a place if the food is okay and the service is really good. Right. It's like substitution happens or, something happens to the meal and the server comes over and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. We'll take care of that. And then, the check comes and like, hey, we took half off of your check just for the inconvenience. We're so sorry. We'd love for you to come back, give us another shot. But when you just get this, like, I don't care attitude, it's like, oh, sorry. It's like,
It was just a little strange.
I'm not coming back.
Ambivalence is a killer.
And I do feel also, I don't know if you had this experience, Eric, but I felt like it was so big and open in there that it was not cozy. Like they've got this little echo chamber over by the bar where all the staff were hanging out. And then I just felt like we were in this very not cozy kind of cafeteria.
That's a good way to describe
space.
it. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. The vibe in there just is like, it's not inviting.
Like they don't want to serve food. They want to serve alcohol. We went in there one time on a Saturday. I think it was around 2:00. We were starving. And they said, oh, we don't serve food until 3. Now, I don't know if they've changed that since then. This was back when they first opened. It's like we couldn't wait until 3:00 for lunch. We were dying. So we ended up having to come back. But it felt very much when they added the food in, which is delicious. I mean, I will emphasize the food is very, very good.
I have no complaints about the food. The food was good too.
That it was kind of like an inconvenience that we wanted food when we came there. Like, oh, you're here for lunch? Oh, yeah, we do that. Like, here's our menu.
Yeah. We ran in, what the other place does that in town? We ran into this because we would go out to church and then we would find a place to go. If we went to the 11 o'clock, service, then we were kind of right up against the changeover at this place. And they stopped serving food from it goes from brunch to lunch, but for like an hour, I think it was like 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, I think it was. They don't have a food menu at all.
Wow.
And that was the label.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And we just so happened. Oh, you know what it was? It wasn't church. Sorry, it wasn't church. Mila had basketball on Sundays. She would have basketball at school on Sundays, and it was just ending from
In that window.
It was like noon to 1. So about 1:30, we were getting ready for lunch, and we always wanted to go there. And we went there one time, and they're like, "We don't have a menu at all." I'm like, "Well, this is awkward." Like,
mental note: no post-basketball food to be had at the label. All right, well, let's try to end the show on a positive note, shall we? So, as you bring yourselves into the Christmas holiday, as you approach unwrapping presents underneath the tree, what would be the single biggest Christmas present that someone could give you? Oh.
I don't know.
All right. Well, how about this? I'll let you think about it for a second.
Okay.
So in my family, we don't give presents anymore. We have not in our nuclear family, we don't exchange gifts at all. The kids have gotten off the hook now, so they don't have to buy mom and dad a present. They still exchange gifts with one another, but we usually announce our family vacation for the year during our Christmas time together. And while the Burnett family has spent significantly more money than we would have ever spent giving them things, what I will tell you with certainty is the experiences and the memories that we've created as a result of making that choice as a family changed our family dynamic in a way that I never really originally believed would be the case. But having stood here now on the precipice of adding my second and third grandchild to our family, I know that our window to have done that largely has closed. Because now what used to be a 7-person trip would be a 10-person trip with 3 small children. So to know that for that brief window, we had that chance to go those places together and have those experiences, like I wouldn't trade it for the world. So if one of them somehow were to come up with enough money to tell mom and dad that they were going to take care of it this year and we were going to just be able to go on a trip of their choosing, would far and away be the best Christmas present that I could ever get.
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
Well, that's largely inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't taken a family vacation outside of visiting family in, gosh, I don't know, 7 years or something.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. But we have gone down to Alabama to see my husband's family a few times. And that is actually one of our plans for this year after Christmas is to go down to Alabama and spend time with family. I think for us, just that gift of time together would be huge. As far as intangible things, as far as tangible things, I don't know. I really need a new car, guys.
Yes, you do.
Apart. So
You're looking for a new van?
we're looking for a new family van.
There you go.
Yeah. And so hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have one.
A family truckster for the Moore family would be great. Just to tie it all together. There you go.
Just saying.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. You know, we've gotten to that point where, you know, even getting like, you know, the Secret Santa exchanges and all that stuff, like you get to a point where like you don't need anything.
There you go.
You know, you just don't need anything. There's not like I find myself. So here's a funny story. So my oldest, you know, impromptu. You gotta love her personality and like just go getterness because she gets on something and she does not let it go.
Okay.
You know, she just says she's gonna be a lawyer. You know, when she grows up.
It's either singular focus or OCD. We don't know yet.
100%. Yes. That is exactly what goes through my head. So, well, to be determined. But sorry. The other day she goes, I want to do Secret Santa. And so we're like, okay, cool. Like we'll draw names. And she goes, no, but we need to give the gifts today.
Oh.
And she's like, we need to go shopping and we need to wrap them and then we need to give the gifts today. So we're like, okay. And she kept pushing it. Like we had an agenda. We were actually going to go to the Hilton Court Santa mailbox.
Yeah.
And so they already made their letters. We were going to take them there. And so we had to squeeze in shopping. And we're like, you know, this sounds fun. So me and my wife, like sometimes we just put our foot down. We're like, you know what, this is not happening today. But we really didn't have much else going on. I needed to go to Costco anyway. We needed a few things from Target. So we're like, okay, all right. We set a limit. We set, you know, the boundaries of what we were doing.
A 3-pack of orange juice. Thank you so much.
And so she gets all the names in the hat. And my youngest, well, mind you, right, it's one of us has to now take each kid to the store. So my youngest, smart as hell. And she's like, this is not going to work because if I go with mom, then you guys are going to know that I have either dad or Mila. And like, God bless her soul. Like,
smart.
You clearly need to have more children. There's more mystery. Just saying.
Then we need another adult there to go for the exchange. So like, God bless her soul. But we had this whole like, 30 minutes of defusing like, hey, look, it's still a mystery because it's either one of us. And she's finally like, oh, okay, I get it. Like
it's a 50-50 shot, kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you bought me. So
we put 5 things on the list. And that was your limit. You can only put 5 things on your list, and you're gonna get maybe 1, maybe 2 of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the price. And so they're like, Dad, what's your list? I'm like, what do I need that I actually use on a daily basis that I go through? So I'm like, well, you can go get me a new thing of deodorant, right? You can go get like I literally put in all the practical things that I use on a daily basis. Point is, I don't need like what do you need, right? Everything I want, I buy. I can't really ask for anything besides this. And I've been doing this with my mother-in-law for years. She goes overboard for Christmas. Like to the point where I'm like almost 40. I don't need presents for my mother-in-law, for Christmas.
I feel like I'm listening to my own husband talk right now. This is exactly the same scenario.
Okay, so hold on, time out before you go any further because we might need to do something here. Did you already unwrap? Did this all already go down?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so drum roll. What did Eric get?
I got a Dr. Sasquatch bar soap.
Yeah.
Dr. Sasquatch deodorant.
Ooh, a themed gift.
Mr. Beast bar.
Dang.
That was the cookies and cream. Mr. Beast bar.
You got 3 things.
Wait, this was at Costco?
No, they went to Target for that.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
I was
Got
gonna
it.
say, I didn't know.
We made 3 stops. It was Target, Sephora in Kohl's, and then Costco.
Eric's gift from Sephora really worked out well.
Yeah.
It's a stud earring for his 1 year.
Yeah. And then I also got shave cream. The shave cream that I use.
Nice.
Not today, though.
Well, I shave every day. I just shave down here.
Neck shave.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're tight. I got you.
I line it up.
I kid because I care.
Yeah. I love you.
Well, I think that's plenty. It's probably an episode, don't you think? So that's it. That's all. All the jingles.
Son of a nutcracker.
Son of a nutcracker. I hope all of you out there are going to have just a magical Christmas season like all the rest of us are. And I think you guys, there's going to be a white Christmas this year.
I think so.
I think there's going to be. I think we got as good a shot as we've had in a really long time. So here's hoping to all of you and yours. If you have people coming in from points unknown, we're going to hope that the roads are clear and safe and that everybody can get to and from the places they need to be and be healthy and happy and have just the best Christmas season ever. And until next time, folks, cheers. This is Roger signing out.